Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Kechidori.
Hey, welcome to another episode. It's Yeukai on the show. Gosh, it's been a few days since we were together, but I'm thrilled that we are back and we're continuing on the study of financial freedom. And today we've got a very special guest, Dave Rae, who has been in the personal finance industry for the last 15 years, started working for a great company, and then went on to branch out to run his own company. And, but before we introduce Dave here, I just want to bring to your attention our monthly is over, that if you're looking for a virtual assistant, you know where to find them. In fact, you can click the button somewhere around here and you can get your trial of a virtual assistant and you'll be good to go. Now, back to our show. David, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Incredible. Now, David is a personal finance expert helping people all around the world make smarter financial decisions. And he also is the president and the founder of DRM Wealth Management, a fee-only fiduciary financial planning firm located in Los Angeles, California. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And I know you're very busy, contributing to Forbes, Investopedia, and other magazines. Gosh, where do you get the time to do all this stuff?
It is one of those questions you wonder, but I really love doing it. And it actually is really good for business. And it does save me time, if you believe it, because I can come, if I get a random question from a client or a prospect or someone who wants some help with certain subject, you can be like, well, here's 5 articles I've written on it. And, if you have any more questions, reach out. Or here's something that I think will answer your questions. Or, look at this article. And people are like, oh my gosh, it's like you're inside my head. Because most of my articles or TV appearances are based on things that people are actually dealing with or questions that someone's asked me. So I kind of really write it from the view of answering the questions of people I'm talking to and all of that stuff. So it does take a lot of time, but it really does save me time in the long run.
Incredible. In fact, you parade yourself as an expert, because once people begin to read your articles and they see all this information on podcasts like this one or any other TV shows which you are featured, for example, you were on NBC Nightly News, ABC News, and, CBS News and Fox and Friends, people will begin to think, okay, Dave is the man to go to.
That's the goal. And I think it's working.
Absolutely. Well, we are delighted to have you on the show, hoping we can help individuals here, especially business owners, really plan their financial path or their financial road so that they retire, financially secure. Now, Dave, before we jump on into the whole conversation here of, that we have today, tell us a bit about your background, how, bring us up to date.
Yeah. So, I've always been one of those people that's entrepreneurial and, very good with money. As a kid, I was selling, baseball cards online. I wrote like a book and sold it back before the internet on like a little ad in the back of a magazine. And, I've always been doing these things with money. And I grew up in a household where my parents really stretched the dollar. So, I had a good background of how to make smart financial decisions. But then when I became an adult, I really wanted to look at the next step of, paying less in taxes and saving money and really getting ahead to really build wealth. And I found myself working in the financial industry. I really looked around and figured, where can I help the most people and where will my skills really be the best utilized. And, I met some people that were traders on Wall Street or they worked at a mutual fund company. I was like, I don't want to stare at 3 computer screens and never talk to a person for, my 14 hours working all day. And I really found myself falling into financial planning where I can help people, especially business owners, make smarter financial decisions, make their businesses run better and keep more of the money that they're making so that, they're able to live the lives they want. And at the same time, I'm able to do what I want to be doing and help people and then really live the life I want. So it's really been a great journey from when I started way back in 2003 to launching my own firm in 2017 to today where, luckily I'm running around on TV, I'm contributing all over the place and I'm helping literally people around the world, which is not typical for people in my industry. So I have clients that fly in from different countries. I have clients that are US citizens living around the world and working around the world, which is really fun. And then of course I have people that, live down the street here, a few blocks from me in LA. So clients are all over the place. And I just really enjoy helping people and helping people make smarter financial decisions, because people really don't know where to turn or where to get the best advice or what's the right option for them.
Awesome. One of the things I like about you is that you were featured as one of the 100 most influential financial advisors by Investopedia. And how did you get to do that, man? To, spill the beans.
So I was named to that list in 2017. I just got notified I've been named to it again for 2018. It's very exciting. I think just because I'm kind of everywhere. So, I've been on pretty much every major TV station here in the US. I've been on, our local public radio like NPR. I've been on things from Fox News all the way to NBC News to a bunch of other shows. And I write everywhere, and I'm very visible, and I'm really just putting myself out there and getting a great traction with people, really responding to what I'm putting out there and the advice I'm giving. So people spread the word, and I ended up on their radar. And luckily they named me to their list. So it's a pretty big honor. I mean, I think there's something like 1 million financial advisors of some sort here in the US. So to be in the top 100 is a pretty big honor, I think.
Indeed, absolutely. I think there's a lesson here for our listeners here, that be everywhere and you never know where the next best connection comes from. And I think it's one of your ethos, really. I was reading earlier on before we jumped on the call here, that you never know where the best secret is. Just say yes to opportunities.
I'm here. I'm talking to you. And, I know you're on another continent than me at this point. You just never know where someone's going to hear something, or you might say the same thing 20 different ways, and someone's going to like one of those ways more and really reach out and, take you up on that offer, or that's going to be the piece of advice that really gets someone motivated to take the next steps to build their business or grow their business or to work with you. So yeah, just put yourself out there, be visible, and, put good energy and good advice out there, and people will be attracted to you, which is great.
Absolutely. Well, if you're a business owner here in the UK and around the world, and you're looking for somebody who is actually in the trenches helping other business owners with the financial planning, well, you're in the right place. Stay tuned, because right now we're just going to go straight into the subject of today, your financial planning roadmap with David. David, let's dive into it right now.
Right.
If you met a business owner for the first time in a place where they are not quite sure what they need to do to create financial success through planning or however means, what would be the very first thing you will talk to them about?
Yeah, we really would sit down and go through where they're at now, because a lot of business owners, they're putting, a lot of time into their business. They're putting, their heart and soul into growing this business, especially if they're just starting out. You need some help. And we want to look at, their business side. And then we also want to look at your personal side. Like, what do you want to accomplish as an individual that's not necessarily tied to your business, but maybe, your family and travel and maybe retiring someday. So we really would look at the personal side and go, what can we do to get you from where you're at now to where you want to be? And a lot of times there are things that aren't as exciting, like looking at taxes and looking at payroll and looking at expenses. And some things are more exciting of, what could really happen with this business? If everything goes well, where will you be in 5 years and 10 years when, you've quadrupled your income or quadrupled your revenue or 10 times your revenue, depending on, your business or where you're at. And what would you do if you had an extra 10, 20, 30% profit? Each year, what could you do with your life? What would make you happier? And we kind of sit down and really draw out that financial roadmap of what needs to be happening and what's realistic. Because some businesses, if you're charging hourly, there's only so many hours you can work in a day. Whereas if you have a business where you could franchise or you have employees, the sky could be the limit. So, some people need to be, not to be the bearer of bad news, but if you're charging a certain amount per hour, you're not going to work 24 hours a day. So you either need to maybe raise prices or lower expenses. So I'm really there to kind of be the guide and the accountability coach along the way there, and then looking at what needs to happen to really reach those goals. A lot of times people, when they're running a business, it's very tempting and very easy to pour everything back into the business, and all of a sudden you're 10 or you're 20 years in and you have this amazing business, but you haven't taken anything out of it and you're still beholden to this business, and you're never going to be able to retire or step back or take some of the steps that I like to have people take where they ease out of the business later on in life, so that you're not always working 80 hours a week, or you don't need to work 80 hours a week unless you want to, just so that you can pay your bills, which I think is a trap a lot of people fall into. You make more money on the business, you spend more money, and all of a sudden your lifestyle is doubled or tripled, and you're in the same financial state you were in 10, 15 years ago. You just have more bills and more expenses.
Indeed. Now, why is this very step more important for anyone who wants to ensure better financial success than anyone else?
Yeah, because if you can be, I know a bunch of successful people here in LA that make huge incomes, but they also spend every single penny of it. So, let's be realistic. There's a stereotype in LA where
one of those, man. I can be honest with you right now. Man. There was a time I made a lot of money, but I was like, what? Where do you all go? Until I had a coach. I had a coach in other areas of life, but in that particular area, it was no, I can manage this if I can pull it off the other end. But no, you need somebody else to walk you the path.
And I'll joke, we're here, someone will pull up in their Bentley and then their credit card gets declined for putting gas in it, so it's just, we want to make sure that you're able to do the things you want to be doing. And there are definitely people who make way less than millions of dollars that are able to save. And if you're making millions of dollars, I'd like to think that you can save for hundreds of thousands of pounds or whatever would be appropriate, that you're getting ahead and you're putting money away and that you're minimizing your taxes. And really, it's important to know what you're trying to accomplish. For me, because really when I'm doing a financial plan and a financial roadmap, if I just tell you to spend less money, like it's a diet, you're not going to want to do that. That's not very exciting. Like, ooh, spend less on a trip, or spend less on your car, or spend less on your house. That's not fun. But if we say, why don't you get a little, not get a Bentley so you can afford gas, or if you say, let's buy a more reasonably priced car so that you can take trips like you want to, or you can buy a home, or you can retire earlier. We're making those changes to your finances based on the goals that you have and the things that you want to accomplish. So rather than just going, don't spend so much money. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to go, I can't take the first class trip, or I can't travel here, or I'm going to have to work till I'm 100 years old. We want to make steps now so that, your business is more profitable, you pay less taxes, and you're setting aside money for your various financial goals, whether it's buying a home, retiring whenever, or retiring early, or maybe that buying a Bentley and again having money for the gas for the car. Simple things.
Yes, absolutely. Now, assuming that we've got this very first step covered, in your relationship building with this particular business owner, what is the next step that you you cover in that that relationship?
Yeah, and we for me, it's trying to diversify a little bit out of the business so that you're not having all of your eggs in one basket. It's great to pour everything back into the business, but you want to diversify a little bit. You probably want to, at some point, maybe own some real estate or a home. You probably want to have some types of retirement accounts. You want to, especially here in the US, we get tax breaks for saving for retirement. So you can write the government a check for 50 cents on every dollar you make, or you can write that check to yourself. And it seems a pretty no-brainer. I'd rather pay myself and write myself a check than write the government a check. But not everyone agrees with me. But
I'm with you, Dave. I'm with you.
Okay, just making sure. If they don't agree with me, they probably won't be a very good client on that one. But then you also want to, let compounding interest work for you. So with investments, the sooner you get started, if you put some money in an investment and it earns money, all of a sudden that money it's earned is earning interest, and that's earning interest. And all of a sudden you're a multimillionaire in your investments, you have your business, and you just have a lot more options, and you have a lot more flexibility if we have another financial crisis, or we have a downturn, or just being flexible so that if you have a bad month or a bad quarter for your business, you're not up Schitt's Creek, or you're not screwed. You'll be in a position to weather that. Because I've definitely seen businesses as well that were more highly leveraged, and one vendor doesn't pay or one customer doesn't pay. All of a sudden, you have this chain reaction of cash flow issues versus the other firm that, has cash reserves, goes, okay, something happened, not a big deal, not fun that I lost 10, 20, $50,000, whatever that number is, but it doesn't mean my business is going to go out of business over it. So making sure that you're prepared to really achieve your best success and have money to avoid things that will really dampen the success of your business.
Incredible. I love how simple you put it. It seems like a no-brainer, when you're talking about that, but not so many business owners, especially those who are getting started, have got this concept nailed it. Now, for anyone who perhaps is really playing with the idea of diversifying, what pointers can you give to a business owner like that, to say, think in this area so that they can get the ball rolling, so to speak?
I know it's very tough at the beginning of a new business to think about taking money out or not reinvesting everything back into it, but start the habit. Even if you just start with 1% of your revenue or 1% of your profit, it's not a big number necessarily, but it gives you a starting point, especially like year 1 or 2 when things are tight and you're not making that much money. Just pull a little bit out of the business, pay yourself a little bit or take a little bit of a salary so that you're having the habit and the business is actually surviving and paying you. And then that just gives you more flexibility down the road to take that up to 2% or 10, all of a sudden you'll be at 10% or you'll be at 20%, and you'll be making more money and profitability from your business so that you have more breathing room again down the road if something happens and revenue drops. You have some flexibility versus I've seen a lot of businesses where if they lose one customer, they lose one sale, all of a sudden they're not making enough money to pay their bills or to pay their rent. If you're taking 10, 20, 30% out into kind of a salary or emergency fund or for whatever you want to be using it for, investing, for retirement, or those types of things, you have a bigger cushion for when something unfortunate happens. And I wish every business the best and that nothing ever happens bad. But I've been doing this long enough, something's going to happen. It might not even be a problem. It might just be, your biggest client check gets lost in the mail. It might be a few weeks delay, but if you don't have money to make payroll, that's a big problem. If you have money in reserves and a check comes 2 weeks late, it's not necessarily fun or great, but it won't be a big problem. Where I definitely have talked to businesses where if that check is not here in cash today or the bank puts a hold on it, they're freaking out. So we want to avoid those things. I'm a big Zen meditation type person, so I really want to avoid stress if I don't need to have stress. So a lot of the things I do with my business owners is find ways to just minimize stress, where it doesn't need to be there. It's hard enough running a business. We don't need to add to that stress.
Absolutely. I'm great for that. You are talking about these things. I wish somebody had pointed these things out right in 2008 when we were getting started in business, because it's real, when you're on one thing and then all of a sudden you make a bad decision and then it all goes pear-shaped. Now, we are not all immune from bad decisions. Sometimes it's just bad judgment and you move. As entrepreneurs, you move very fast, don't you?
Things happen. We're not going to be able to make you immune from everything, but we can definitely make it where you'll be able to recover easier.
Exactly. When you diversify, you've got breathing room over there. Now, assuming that we've got that covered, we know what we are working towards, we know what we want to achieve, we have designed the lifestyle we want to have, we are beginning to diversify, everything in place. What would you suggest is the fastest way to get your financial goal if you're following the plan?
Yeah. So one thing to do is make sure you're paying yourself first. I mean, this is a separate step from taking money out of the business, but it's very easy to go, okay, look, my business is growing. I'm so flush with money at this point. I can just keep taking up my lifestyle. So, be conscious of buying that Bentley. I'm not anti-Bentley, but just make sure you can afford it. I see so many business owners who are doing so amazingly well and their business is growing, hand over fist, year over year, but their lifestyle is growing at the same pace. So I feel like they end up on kind of a treadmill. Basically, they're just running really fast, but they're not getting anywhere. Their lifestyle's gone up. They're living a better, in a nicer house. They have a nicer car, maybe some nicer clothes. but they're still stressed for money. So make sure, we kind of talked about the diversify, but make sure you're setting yourself up to be able to leave your business at some point in time, to sell your business in the future if that's what you want to do. And it may be 10, 20, 30 years down the road, but just being aware of things that you might do in your business to make it more valuable to a potential purchaser, or make it easier for you to delegate some of the work so that you're not the person having to do everything in there. I know you guys offer some virtual assistants and things like that can really just take some of the stress off of a business owner. And I know for me as a business owner too, when I take vacations, I know I can't 100% check out and turn off my computer like I could, and ignore emails and ignore voicemails for weeks at a time like I could if I was maybe an employee somewhere. But at the same time, you want to make sure that your business keeps running while you're gone, but that you're not 100% having to work full time on vacation. That's one of my big challenges and goals is unplugging. But I can't complain. I take a lot of vacations, at least for Americans in our horrible 2 weeks of typical vacation versus I know my European clients, they're like, what? You don't take 2 months off? I go, I try, not in a row.
Well, the thing about taking vacation really is designing your life so that you can, if you want to work while you're on vacation, you can, but you don't have to. It's a
yes.
concept altogether. Like, for example, like 2 weeks I was in South Africa with family on vacation. Occasionally, I just want to check how we're doing, and then you look at. I got told off for that, but hey, but it's not like you have to,
Definitely, and there's a big difference between choosing to check in and having to do work, because I really like to set things up for my business owners where, again, it'd be like checking in or just scrolling through the emails so I don't come back from 2 weeks, or you don't come back from 2 weeks of vacation to 10,000 emails. You can delete a few things along the way, and some things you just forward to someone, hopefully forward to someone else, and can you take care of this, or have the autoresponder on, and knowing that your business will keep running without imploding, I guess is the nicest word, without you being there full time.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's switch gear for a moment as we come toward the end of our time here together, David. What is the perfect mindset a business owner could have when it comes to financial planning, which virtually could guarantee their success 15, 10, 20 years from now?
Yeah, I think if you really want to guarantee your success, you've got to strive to put away 10 to 20% of your income each year. If you do that, and you're not starting at, say, 65 already or 60, you're going to have a really tough time not reaching your financial goals. I have to put a little caveat on there. You have to put it away and leave it there. I've also seen people that tell me, like, I'm saving $10,000 a month, but they have like $2 in their checking account or their savings. I'm like, well, the saving is great, but that's like, oh, I diet all day and then eat a cake at night. It's not really going to help you lose weight. So, we need to find the balance there. But I think really sit down and do your financial roadmap. Figure out what it would take to get to all of your financial goals. And if you're not comfortable doing that yourself, reach out to a financial planner like myself or another financial advisor, so that we can go, even if you're not able to save what you need to save to do all of your financial goals right now, if you know what the target is, you can work towards it. And even if you're just starting small. I mean, my first retirement account at 22, when I first graduated college, I was putting $25 a month into. I mean, it was a big deal then, but it built the habit. Now I save thousands of dollars a month, and it's a breeze, but I built the habit. I knew where to put the money. I was comfortable with the investing, and the same thing will work for you as a business owner. You dip your toe in a little bit and you're like, oh, I can save whatever the number is per month, a few £100 or a few £1,000 or 10,000 pounds, whatever that's going to be for you. And then you can grow it from there and work towards what you really need to be saving to retire when you want, or take that family vacation to South Africa that you're dreaming about, or buy a Bentley and have money for gas. So, really have that roadmap. And again, you're not sure that you'll be able to do everything right now, but it helps you to know what you need to be doing so that you can work towards it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so sure that there will be people here that want to connect with you, maybe just have a chat like we're doing, or maybe, requesting your services. Where can they find you?
Yeah, the best place to check out is my blog, which is financialplannerla.com, and you can contact me through there. There's a bunch of information and a bunch of different articles and posts about various financial topics that, you can really get an idea of how I think and how I help people, and then really maybe get some answers to some of the questions that you might have about, your business and your financial goals and what you should be doing.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, David. Now, final thoughts. Is there anything else around this subject, your financial raw plan, that I've not asked you, which you feel business owners, especially those who are listening to this conversation, needs to remember, if they're going to be making that first move for the first time?
Yeah. And I think, if you're starting out in your business, it's really more about, the money and saving the money and growing your business. Obviously, the more your business grows, hopefully the more money you will make and the more profitable and happy things will be. But you also want to think about, what you're going to do when you maybe exit your business or come up on retirement. There's a bunch of different strategies that you can look at as far as, do you just sell your business? Do you just quit, which is probably not the ideal way? Or do, you try and ease out or delegate more? And I really work with a lot of my business owners that are coming up on retirement, maybe 10, 15 years out, even 2 or 3 or 5 years out, and looking at ways that they can maybe ease back on working. And you don't necessarily have to retire or quit, because I have a lot of business owners, and I know around the world there's a lot of people who love their business. They just want to have more flexibility to maybe go on a nice vacation for a few weeks and not have to check in or not feel they need to check in. But you can build in a lot of processes and things as well that reduce what you have to do in your business, reduce what you're responsible for. It may reduce your profit a little bit if you're paying another staff member or getting a little higher quality employee there. But if it means you have half the workload, is it worth it when you're coming up on retirement or wanting to work half-time or part-time or quarter time? And then you still have your foot in the door, so you're not just retiring and going and sitting on a beach. I know most of my business owners dream of sitting on a beach, but I think after about a week or two, they're going
back into
they're antsy. I mean, they're like, "What now?" I'm like, "You've been retired for 2 weeks. You want to go back to work?" They're like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay, well, I told you." So, thinking about what your next chapter might be, and there's a lot of opportunities, especially if you've run a successful business, to help other business owners. And there's things you can do consulting wise, and it's not even about the money. It's nice. It can be a nice opportunity. I've had a lot of business owners who go to consult or work part-time, and they actually still make more money, which is kind of the funny thing. Why didn't you do this 10 years earlier? You're working quarter time and making double the money. Seems pretty good to me. But they just have to be in the right place and the right mindset to make sure that they're still enjoying their life. They have the freedom to do what they want to do, but then they're not just sitting at home on their couch watching, Netflix 24 hours a day, wanting to shoot themselves. So.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Dave. And that's Dave Rae from the Financial Planner LA, talking to us about Financial Raw Planner. Once again, we want to thank you. In fact, we would love to have you back, maybe talk about the frequently asked questions that you get asked all the time in another show, when it's convenient for you.
That'd be amazing.
Awesome. And once again, thank you so much for joining us here on the Yeukai Business Show. We've got so many great guests lined up for you, and we've had over 200 guests already. And if you want to learn anything about HR or any other topic around business, you can find it here on the Yeukai Business Show page. With that said, we want to wish you all the success. I've been writing notes, and I hope you have. And it's been great having Dave here with us. And again, if you've got any questions, click the link below. You'll be taken straight to Dave's website, which is www.financialplannerla.com, or you can reach out to Dave on LinkedIn, or just send us an email. We'll put you in touch. Once again, we appreciate all you recommending listeners to this podcast. With that said, have a great day. Dave, thanks again for being here with us, man. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, you take care now. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.